Good morning, y'all. Taylor here with y'all 106.7. Today we have a very lovely guest, singer-songwriter Kelli Belles. Welcome to y'all.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Very excited to have you. Now, your artist name, you go by Belles.
Yes.
So when did you make the decision to ditch the first name?
Well, it was actually kind of the opposite. My original band name was Bells and Whistles.
Okay.
And I shortened it to The Bells, and then I just kept it Bells. And I've never really used my first name until recently. I've started to put it in there. But
I love it, though. It's very catchy. It's different.
thank you. It's a nickname I had growing up. So
Okay. And where did that come from?
just like Kelli Belles, Kel Bells, Kelli Belly, like that whole thing. I kind of hated it growing up, but then I thought it was cute.
It is very cute.
Yeah.
Well, this is a big time for you because you're about to go on tour. Your
Yes.
second headlining club tour, the Trust Issues tour.
Yeah.
Where did the name come from?
Well, I have a song called Trust Issues that may or may not be coming out soon.
Ooh.
But I wrote this song about, the hook is I only trust issues,
That's good.
which is something that I very much identify with. And I actually wrote this song like 2 months into dating my current boyfriend because I was just like, there's something wrong with this man. Like, he's too nice. He's too perfect. Like, I was just constantly waiting for the other shoe to drop. And then, yeah, I wrote this song. And then a year later, we're still together. And I still am like, I think there's something
You're
wrong.
just waiting for it. Yeah. You're like, I need a little bit of crazy. Like,
Yeah,
why are you being so nice to me?
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. So this is your second time headlining a tour.
Yes.
And you've been on tour with some big acts. Miranda Lambert, Dan and Shay, Lee Bryce. So that's fun to share the stage with them.
It's been amazing. I feel like a lot of those shows have been in Nebraska, in my home state. And Nebraska people just really get behind, Nebraska artists. And I've had some amazing experiences opening for some of my heroes. Like, I got to open for Miranda like a year and a half ago. And she was incredible. She was awesome. She was like playing with my dog all day. She got my mom a beer off of her tour bus.
Wow.
Like, she was just the sweetest. Like, they let me sit like right side of stage to watch her. Like, it was one of my favorite days ever. So
That's
yeah.
amazing. I've been wearing out that new Miranda
Oh.
album this whole week. I'm obsessed with it. It's so good.
I haven't listened to it because I've been so swamped that I want to sit down and like really
Yeah.
listen.
You might
and, like,
cry
go
a little
through.
bit.
I
Something
probably will.
Something that's similar, I feel like, in her artistry and yours as well, is you have a lot of heartbreak songs, but they're empowering heartbreak songs.
Yeah, totally. That's exactly what I try to do. Like, I always try to write my songs from a point of strength, whether it's like, I'm really hurting right now, but like, I know I will get through this. Yeah.
And how long have you been writing?
I think I wrote my first actual song when I was about like 14. So it's been a while now, but I moved to Nashville when I was 19. And that was really when I started figuring out like what co-writing was and getting into sessions and doing all of that. So it's definitely been a journey, but I feel like now I love starting songs by myself and bringing them into sessions, or even writing songs by myself every once in a while. Like, it's just such a great outlet, and I love writing songs about like real life stuff. Yeah.
It's therapeutic.
It totally is.
But your co-writer record is very impressive. I know Reed Isbell, he's
Yeah,
great.
he's
Keith
awesome.
Warren, Ned Cameron. So I bet you always learn from the people in the room as well, especially writing with
yeah.
people like that.
100%. Like, Heath, we were just talking about him, but I definitely think he was one of the first people I actually got to write with in Nashville. I was very lucky with him, and I think he has definitely been a huge influence on how I write songs today. Yeah.
And for those listening, Heath Warren was a co-writer on Rockin' a Hard Place with Bailey Zimmerman, with
Yes.
Jet Harvey, and there was a third one.
Jacob Hacksworth.
Jacob Hacksworth. Yeah. So very talented writers right here in Nashville.
Yeah.
So that's exciting for you. But your mom, she was a singer. So
Yes.
that's probably how you fell in love with music, singing on stage
Totally.
with her.
Yeah, so it actually goes even deeper than that. My grandma was a jazz singer as well. So it's kind of like a thing with the women in our family do music. So my grandma and my mom taught me how to sing, and my mom was in a sister pop vocal group called Mulberry Lane, and they were signed to MCA in 1999. I was just like a little baby.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I grew up touring with them, They had a top 25 pop hit in the early 2000s, and then kind of ended up going back to Nebraska and touring more around the Midwest and doing fairs and festivals and stuff like that. So I grew up going around in a van at like the Iowa State Fair, watching my mom sing and being like, that's what I want to do. And I remember I would do her vocal warm-ups with her backstage. And like that was really kind of where I got the bug, I think. And I think for me, it made it seem way more possible than it actually was. You know what I mean? Like, 'cause I saw them do it, so I was like, I'm just going to be a singer. Like,
Yeah.
just like that. It'll be easy. But then I think as I grew up more, Mom was like, you know, this is a really hard industry. Like, it can break some hearts and, you know, really take it all out of you. And at the beginning, she didn't really want me to get into music. She was like, you should, you know, look at all your options, like see what you love. And for me, I just always came back to writing songs and doing this.
It was in your heart.
Yeah.
So what does
always
Mom
was.
say about it now? Is she on board? She
Oh.
number one fan?
Yeah, she's the most supportive. Like, she is amazing, and she helps me a lot, and I run a lot of things by her. I'm like, you know, what should I do about this?
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't know, but sometimes you just need that person to listen, you know?
Yeah, and someone who gets it, someone who's been there.
Yeah, so I feel very lucky that, you know, I do have my mom, and actually, well, my grandma just passed away about 2 months ago.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. But when she was alive, I ran everything by her. She was smart. It was actually her idea for me to put together a headlining tour last year. And that really like changed the entire course of my career. So, I mean, I owe a lot to my mom and my grandma helping guide me on this journey.
Well, I'm sure she'll still be guiding you. She'll be with you on stage every single night.
Yes, she is, for sure. Yeah.
Well, we play country music from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. So I was wondering, who would be your biggest musical influence from that era?
Probably the Chicks. That was really like Natalie Maines, and her voice is really what I grew up like. That's who I wanted to sound like, really. And that Fly record, like, I've worn that thing out so much. And
So good.
yeah, it's so fun to play. Like, a few months ago, I was driving through rural Nebraska to get to a show, and I had no cell service, but I had that album downloaded on my Apple Music or whatever. And I was just playing that Fly album, and I was driving through, like, just by myself through middle of nowhere, Nebraska, listening to that. And I was like, this is like a dream.
Hear it blow it in the wind. Cowboy,
like,
take me away. Yeah.
Literally, I feel like I should be in a music video right now.
I love
But
that.
yeah, no, I mean, obviously Shania too, like, grew up loving her. But for me, it was the Chicks. Yeah.
We actually interviewed Marcus Hummon not too long ago, who wrote Cowboy Take Me Away. And he was even saying like that was probably the worst time in his career before he got that cut was because he had like got dropped from his deal and he didn't know what was going to happen. And in the same week, he got Chicks cut and a Tim McGraw cut. So that is like the beautiful thing about Nashville is you literally never know what's going to happen the next day.
Totally. And that's also like the addicting part of it is because it's like, you really never know, so why quit, you know? Because it's literally like a week from now, you could be like on cloud nine.
Absolutely. Waiting on lightning to strike.
Totally.
Well, we're really excited to hear you play today. What are you going to play for us?
You know,
What is your heart telling you?
I'll probably just play my song, Man Out of Me.
I wrote that down. That's my favorite one of yours.
Yay!
Yeah, no, I literally put a note by it. My favorite.
Awesome.
That is just, I love that song.
Thank you. I'll probably play. That's one of my favorite songs I've ever written. So
Okay, great. Well, I'm excited to hear it live.
Awesome.
Best way to keep up with you is bellsmusic.com and on socials at Bellsmusic.
Yep.
All right. Trust Issues Tour, Kelli Belles. Y'all check her out.